Good morning, everyone, again, and a very warm welcome to this opening ceremony of the 6th edition of the Global Water Operators Partnerships Congress. It's really an honor to see such a full room. It really motivates our work. We see many familiar faces. We also have a lot of new partners that have joined us for this Congress based on the registration list, and we really extend a warm welcome. My name is Åsa Johnson, and I am the head of WOPA, part of UN Habitat, and I will be emceeing here today with you. I want to extend a special thanks to the city of Bonn for hosting us here in this beautiful city on the Rhine, and also, of course, to the government of Germany, who has made this Congress a possibility for us this year as well. I will hand over to my co-host before we start the session.
Hi everyone, good morning. My name is Safa Badar and I'm the Junior Communications and Advocacy Officer here at GWOPA. I'm super excited to welcome you all here today, and I'm super excited to be here myself as an MC, co-MC with Åsa. So this gathering is not just about dialogue, it's about solidarity and of course peer-to-peer learning. The sessions ahead will highlight how water operators, cities and communities can learn from one another, strengthen capacity and co-create solutions for resilient and inclusive water services. We're super honored here to kick off what promises to be an inspiring and hopefully insightful few days together.
We will now start the program of the opening ceremony with a video message from our UN Habitat Executive Director, Ms. Anacláudia Rossbach, who sends her warm greetings and regrets that she unfortunately could not be with us today due to a family emergency that she's had to tackle. Please welcome Ms. Rossbach and the video welcome message from UN Habitat.
Excellencies, honorable guests, distinguished delegates, colleagues, friends, ladies and gentlemen. It is a great pleasure to welcome you to the 6th Global Water Operators Partnerships Congress, held under the theme Solidarity in Action, Stronger Utilities for Thriving Cities. Let me begin by warmly thanking the government of Germany for its steadfast financial and political support to the Global Water Operators Partnerships Alliance, GWOPA, enabling its expanding outreach that we see here today. The city of Bonn for its generous hospitality and hosting of the Secretariat, and the European Union for its partnership through the EU Water Operators Partnerships Program, which is empowering utilities around the world to serve their communities better. We come together at a decisive moment. The world is far from achieving Sustainable Development Goal 6, universal access to safe water and adequate sanitation. 1/4 of humanity lacks safely managed drinking water, and almost half has no access to safely managed sanitation. Behind these figures are children, families, and communities whose dignity, health, and future depend on the services that water and sanitation utilities provide every single day. Strong and accountable utilities are vital to building sustainable, resilient, and inclusive cities. They stand at the heart of UN Habitat's strategic plan for 2026-2029, which aims to ensure that every person enjoys adequate housing, land, and basic services, and that cities become more inclusive, safe, resilient, and sustainable. When utilities are empowered, they deliver far more than water and sanitation. They protect public health, create decent jobs, enable climate action, and make human settlements thrive. This Congress celebrates solidarity as a powerful force for change. Water and sanitation operators partnerships show that transformation does not come only from finance or technology. It comes from people, utility professionals working together across borders, sharing knowledge, skills, and trust. Across continents, These partnerships have helped utilities cut water losses, improve billing systems, extend sanitation networks, and reach unserved communities. They have strengthened leadership, innovation, and institutional culture. Ladies and gentlemen, solidarity-based cooperation is not charity. It is shared capacity, shared responsibility, and shared progress. It builds the local institutions that endure long after any single project ends. We must go further. We need enabling environments, policies, finance, and regulation that allow utilities to plan and deliver sustainably. We need to connect local innovation to national and global action on climate and resilience. And we must ensure that those living in informal settlements and fragile contexts are not left behind. We invite you to help us fulfill GEOPA's 2023 UN Water Conference pledge to create at least 100 new water and sanitation operators partnerships, known as WOPs and SWAPs, that will support 100 million people by 2030. This Congress is a perfect opportunity to join forces and mobilize our efforts. As part of the UN system-wide strategy on water and sanitation, UN Habitat is, through the GWOPA, working with member states and partners to strengthen coherent UN action, advocating for water and sanitation utility voices in the 2026 UN Water Conference in the United Arab Emirates and the 13th World Urban Forum next year in Azerbaijan. Let us use this Congress to reaffirm our shared commitment to stronger utilities, empowered professionals, and thriving cities. Together, through solidarity in action, we can achieve universal access to water and sanitation and realize the promise of a sustainable urban future for all. Thank you.
With those words from UN Habitat Executive Director, it's now my very special honor to introduce our first keynote speaker, Mr. Niels Annen, who is the State Secretary at the Federal Ministry of Economic Cooperation and Development of Germany. Mr. Annen has a distinguished career in public service, including roles as Minister of State at the Federal Foreign Office and as a long-standing member of the German Bundestag. And throughout his career, he has been a committed advocate for international cooperation and multilateral solutions to global challenges. We're very pleased to have you here and for your support, Mr. Annen. The floor is yours. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you very much for that kind introduction, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Bonn, welcome to Germany. It's really a pleasure to have you here, and it's very nice to meet again. Thanks for being here with us. Esteemed colleagues and guests, right now, clean drinking water is one of the most urgent needs in Gaza. Much of the available well water is unsafe. Drinking it causes diarrhea and kidney diseases, but for many, there's simply no alternative. Every day, families must walk many kilometers and stand in queues for hours sometimes, just to collect a few liters of drinkable water. This is exhausting and it is dangerous. Ladies and gentlemen, what is true for Gaza is unfortunately also true for South Sudan, for parts of the Sahel region, and as we all know, for many other places on this earth as well. Clean, safe water is a privilege, but it should not be. Currently, 1 in every 4 people worldwide does not have access to safely managed drinking water. 1 in every 2 people has no access to safely managed sanitation. And I think we all agree that these numbers are unacceptable. And therefore, solidarity and action is exactly what the world community needs right now to provide universal access to water and sanitation for all. Today, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to highlight 3 aspects that are important in order to reach this goal. First, international cooperation and multilateralism are indispensable. I think that needs to be underlined because it has been put in question over so many years now. Conflicts are increasing, budgets are declining, and spending on development work, and unfortunately I can confirm that for Germany as well, although we will remain a very robust and stable partner. But budgets are decreasing and development work is being questioned in many countries worldwide. But global challenges such as the water crisis demand global solutions. No country can tackle this issue alone. Germany therefore focuses on the multilateral system in order to bundle resources and to increase impact. I already mentioned South Sudan. And in South Sudan, for example, Germany has partnered with UNICEF to rehabilitate and expand the water supply system in Torit. This project has enhanced the capacity of the water network, which now provides access to clean water for over 43,000 residents. The upgraded system is mostly solar-powered and provides water kiosks where people can have access to safe drinking water. Ladies and gentlemen, another example is our cooperation with Tanzania. In Tanzania, there is a water operator partnership between utilities from Germany. I'm happy to tell you from my hometown, Hamburg, but also from Stuttgart, and the Kahama Urban Water Sanitation Authority. This collaboration involves on-the-job training, exchange visits, and concrete activities covering ways to reduce water loss and to provide clean water more effectively. This partnership, supported by my ministry, BMZ, has saved significant costs and provide access to safe, clean water for thousands of customers. Later today, we will celebrate the next milestone of the Urban Water Catalyst initiative here at this Congress. And Germany announced the initiative during the 2023 Water Conference as one of its voluntary commitments for the Water Action Plan. Ladies and gentlemen, the launch of the UWCI Foundation marks another milestone. Its aim is to mobilize public and private investments to enhance water utilities across the Global South in a sustainable manner. The focus of the UWCI is on strengthening municipal water supply and wastewater utilities to better serve urban populations in countries such as Colombia, Kenya, Tanzania, Indonesia, and Egypt. And second, ladies and gentlemen, human rights. Human rights require global solidarity, especially the right to water and sanitation as set out in SDG 6. Because we are convinced that without progress on SDG 6, without progress on health, education, gender equality, more will stall. Germany is unwavering in its commitment to the human rights to water and sanitation. If we are to build a just and sustainable future, then no one can be left behind. Ladies and gentlemen, the third point I want to mention is partnerships. Partnerships with the private sector to unlock sustainable economic development. Solidarity must not be limited to states alone. And I think this conference here is a good example of how that can work, because German water utilities and private companies bring vital expertise, they bring technology, they bring financing to the table, and they bring the commitment to make progress. And they're good examples. For example, working with local companies in the Jordan Water Ministry, the German pump manufacturer Willow is supporting investments in pumping stations in Jordan. Jordan being one of the most water-scarce countries that we are partnering with. So using Willow's high-quality equipment has improved energy efficiency and led to savings. These savings were shared between the partners. As a co-benefit, reducing the energy use in pumping station makes the overall energy supply more reliable. This also helps Jordan's sustainable economic development. Ladies and gentlemen, this Congress is a powerful platform for water safety because it brings a diverse range of stakeholders from the water sector together here in Bonn in Germany. It is an opportunity to foster partnerships and to create spaces for collaboration and for innovation. And I can assure you that Germany will continue to contribute to these efforts. And that is why we are launching the Urban Water Catalyst Initiative Foundation. Today, I already mentioned that. The foundation will unlock sustainable investments and empower water operators to deliver real, lasting results where it matters, on the ground. And I invite all of you to join us in this endeavor immediately following this session. Together, building on the work of UN Habitat, we heard Anacláudia speaking to us here, and the GWOPA, we will make a difference. So, ladies and gentlemen, let us really make use of this unique opportunity of your presence here, which, again, I really want to appreciate. Let us use this Congress to continue and deepen our coordination and our cooperation, which is so vital these days, to forge stronger partnerships and bring us all closer to the sustainable development goals, so that soon sustainable access to clean, safe water and sanitation will no longer be the privilege of a few, but a right for all. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Annen, for your insightful keynote and for Germany's dedicated support to enable our work here at GWOPA. I'm now delighted to introduce our next distinguished keynote speaker, Ms. Retno Marsudi, the United Nations Special Envoy on Water. Ms. Marsudi is a distinguished diplomat who served as Indonesia's Minister for Foreign Affairs for a decade. She was also the first woman to ever hold that position, so extra round of applause, I think, for that. Previously, Ms. Marsudi represented Indonesia as the ambassador to the Netherlands, Iceland, and Norway, and she's been a strong advocate for international cooperation and equitable access to water. If you'd all like to give me, join me in giving a round of applause to welcome Ms. Marsudi to the stage.
Well, thank you very much, Zava. State Secretary Annen, I'm so glad to meet you again. Excellencies, colleagues, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, thank you very much for having me, and it is I'm so glad to be back to Bonn. This time is a bit long way to reach Bonn because I have to fly Jakarta, Singapore, Munich, Bonn. Right, it's a long way to go, but I'm so glad because immediately after I landed in Bonn, I was able to jog. Every day I have to jog, and yesterday I reached my goal, 7 kilometers. So I feel so great today. So, colleagues, I'm truly excited to be part of the great movement where water and sanitation actors around the world exchanges experiences and support one another to address our shared challenges in water and sanitation. So my congratulations and thank you very much for the government of Germany, UN Habitat, GWOPA for organizing this Congress. Colleagues, since I began my role as the UNSG Special Envoy on water last November, so it's almost 1 year, I had carried a clear vision that the word water and sanitation should be a source of life, well-being, and prosperity to the people. And our focus should always and will always be the people. This is a simple message, yet the most important one I always emphasize wherever I go. This is why this Congress plays such a vital role, because you are the ones whose work are key to make sure that water and sanitation reach the people on the ground. Colleagues, the words water and sanitation are in dire need of action and transformation. The previous speakers already mentioned all the data. Our efforts are further challenged by various new factors, making the fight for water and sanitation even more difficult. For example, financial constraint and lack of investment, climate change and disaster, widening inequalities in economic and social development. So the question is always, what should we do? While I call upon the world's leaders to pay greater focus from global norm setting to implementation on the ground, now I encourage you all to scale up efforts that you have made from local to the global level. The world needs your knowledges, your expertise, your experiences. And with this rich pool of knowledges and expertise in this Congress, when scaled up, I'm sure it will contribute significantly in addressing the challenges that our water and sanitation face. A few weeks ago, colleagues, in UN Water meeting in Geneva, I emphasized how the world needs narrative of hope, action, and solution, especially in water and sanitation. And those narratives should also come from all of you, the practitioners and operators who experience firsthand and face realities on the ground. In the coming days, as you lead in spreading these narratives through this Congress, allow me to leave you with 3 reminders. This is a kind reminders. First, think beyond. Think beyond water and sanitation sectors. It is time for water experts to inform decisions in other agendas: food and energy, disaster risk reduction, economic growth and development, health and education, women empowerment, and others. We must make sure that water and sanitation fully serve its purpose as the foundation of all other development agendas. Second, be critical in highlighting what does not work. But most importantly, be vigilant, focal, and constructive in highlighting and amplify what does work. One of the examples that we can draw lesson from is what I do in a number of countries. In various meetings with youth, I encourage them to be the source of movement by sharing their stories to inspire wide public and, more importantly, duplicate success in water and sanitation. And relatively in short time, less than a year, what I saw is that the results go beyond what I expected. I start to see young people growing interest in water and sanitation issues, some even successful to open access for water and sanitation in rural areas. Universities gives again focus to water as a prioritized subject. Private sectors give greater attention to water agenda. So it becomes a big wave of movement, starting from young people sharing success stories. And my third point, move and work together. Colleagues, the challenges we are facing in water and sanitation is too big and too complex to be dealt alone. They call for close collaboration and also serve as a test to the strength of our partnership. Only through cooperation we can address and overcome the water and sanitation challenges. And in this regard, allow me to use this opportunity to appreciate and celebrate the dedication you all, as water operators, have collectively shown for our water sanitation. And moving ahead, colleagues, we must ensure that through this Congress, water and sanitation operators and practitioners can contribute meaningfully to the 2026 UN Water Conference, and the closest one is the PrEP meeting in Senegal next January 2026. And let us all support these meetings as vital milestone, paving ways to the 2026 UN conference in December in the UAE, and even beyond, because we have 2026, 2027, 2028, and 2030. So let us also think the long-term, using the long-term perspective. To conclude, colleagues, one drop of water may go unnoticed, but together they make the tides of change. And I thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Ms. Marsudi, UN Special Envoy of Water, for being here and gracing us with your words and support. And building on one of your three messages on what works, in that spirit, it's my pleasure now to bring to us an example of what we're doing through water operator partnerships on the ground, through collaboration, solidarity, and local action. Over the last 5 years, we have, with support from the European Union, through WOPs and partners, been implementing water operator partnerships with utilities globally, including in Africa, to strengthen capacity and improve access to safe water. We're about to show a short film about this example so that you can see collaboration between Luapula Water Supply and Sanitation Company in Zambia, together with partners through the EU WOPs program. Before we play the film, I'm pleased to invite up on stage Mr. Arnaud Devancey, team lead for the European Commission's Directorate General for International Partnerships, together with Mr. Mukela Simbuwa, Managing Director of Luapula Water Supply and Sanitation Company Limited. If you can join me on stage, thank you. We will first give the floor to Mr. Arnaud, followed by our Managing Director from Luapula. The floor is yours.
Thank you very much. So first of all, good morning, everybody. And ladies and gentlemen, dear colleagues, it's really a pleasure to be here, and I wanted to thank really the WOPs Secretariat, all the team for the work in organizing this event, the Special Envoy for being here today with us, and Germany also for the great work we are doing, you are doing to support the WOPs, without which we would not be there today to talk about these water operators partnerships. And thank you for being here and showcasing that we can do actions on the ground, and that it can work and deliver results for people, because people are at the center, and this has to remain. So just wanted to mention that why are we doing that? Why are we supporting these operators partnerships? Because we believe that strong, efficient, well-organized, and transparent operators that can mobilize investments at scale while preserving the interests of the poorest. Strong operators can participate to reducing inequalities in the society while preserving the resources and ensuring cost recovery. And this we know from management, and we believe that solidarity in action can happen. This is something we have been implementing in Europe. It's a core value of the development of the European Union, where solidarity has been developed for notably the enlargement towards new countries. And we do believe that this solidarity is extremely precious and can be also applied more globally. This is why we are supporting the EU Water Operators Partnerships, and we have been launching a new call for proposals in our program of 23 million euros with the WOPs Secretariat. And just a word on the fact that during this summer, we launched the EU Water Resilience Strategy. And here we see also a bit of a change in the way we are looking at the water as a critical strategic asset for the future of our populations. This strategy pushes for more competitivity, more innovation, more cost recovery, adequate service pricing. It also introduces the efficiency first principle, a principle that says that we need to value water and we need to work on water conservation, water demand management, water use efficiency, and water loss reductions before engaging into new projects and new developments. At global level, the EU will implement this strategy through the Global Gateway, that it is the global investment strategy for sustainable infrastructure of the EU. So well-managed utilities can attract strong and long-lasting financial support by both public and private sectors. Hence, they could also widely benefit from this global investment strategy, notably in close coordination with the financiers. This is why also in this new call for proposals, we looked at linking the water operators partnership with the investment agenda to can deliver concrete results on the ground for people. So we are looking forward these next steps and the movie and the examples that we hear today. We do believe that this is where we can deliver this human right, because we should always recall that it is a basic human right. Operators are duty bearers of these human rights. So how can we do that together? We'll hear from you. Thank you very much.
And over to Mr. Simbuva. The floor is yours.
Thank you so much. We have heard a lot, quite a lot already. We are from Zambia. In Zambia, we have 11 water utility companies. We provide both water. I've learned from Germany that we have some utilities that provide only sanitation, others provide water. But in Zambia, the setup is that we provide both water and sanitation as one utility. But we have 11 of those utilities in Zambia. And on the northern part, there are 2 water utilities there, and one of them is Luapula Water, where I'm coming from, and that's the institution I'm representing. In this partnership, in the WOP, we are working with 3 of our German water utility companies, some in sanitation, some specialized in water, and we're doing quite a lot. We then have also GIZ on the other end, who are helping us to attain what we are attaining. Just for inclusivity, Asa, allow me to just a minute to ask Christine to just mention the cooperating partners and the operators that we have from the German side, whom we are operating with as the Luapula Water. Christine? Yeah, just even from there. So what has been the impact of this operators partnership? Quite so much has already been achieved through these partnerships. At corporate level, as Luapula Water, you realize that we are coming from, out of the 11 water utility companies, we're coming from a situation where we were ranked in terms of performance almost at the lowest level, maybe number 10 out of 11, 9 out of 11. But through this partnership that we've had, and a lot has been attained, which has improved the water supply system, and a lot of efficiencies have been put in. We have seen improvements in things like water losses. We have seen improvements in the revenue collection, water quality, and all these things. What is the overall impact so far? We have seen a lot of reduction also in terms of communicable diseases, waterborne diseases. But as a corporate, as an institution, we have also risen in terms of performance, from being one of the lowest performing water utility companies in Zambia to the fourth best performing water utility company in Zambia. And this is because we have had a lot of support from our German colleagues, the utilities in Germany, who have actually been on site in Zambia to train our people, and through that, we have built a lot of capacity. So what is our recommendation, just to sum it up? We are looking forward to a situation where this water operators partnership will no longer be a thing of 2 years, 3 years. We want to look forward to partnerships that are more long-term, because building capacity from the low-performing water utilities takes a bit of some time. So we would want to appreciate the support that we've had from the EU, and we look forward to more support as we go for the next phase. But if it can be made even a bit longer, I think that will be more better. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you. And with those words, it's my pleasure for us to show the short film illustrating the example we've just heard about from Zambia. If we can show the movie, please. It's just a few minutes long. Thank you.
Desequerarinte-moi, Yesu Cristo, arinte-moi, desequerarinte-moi, Yesu arinte-moi.
Kwena akare ilo tetulakwata menshi, twali amukutafa menshi kukamana, pali patali sana, twali chula sana.
Amenshi alikuwa to bwafi okubomu bwabo bwafi muri aya menshi kozimbwa shirasa pene mkunwa ifintu hevingifi ife watuteka filesa mkunwa ero kabiri tuye baminga tuleta pa baranyantamo ero mba tuleta pa so yala kwato tulakwato kulwala malweli ayengi diarrhea mumala malaria na cholera so yala tuletela malweli aya menshi.
People within the urban center have access to water. Those that are in the peripherals of the town had a challenge to access clean and safe drinking water, and people have to walk distances for them to access quality water.
You can imagine someone covering for about 5 kilometers just to find water. They move with their families with buckets on their heads, and then they have to take it from all the way to Maiteneke to Namwande just for them to find water.
There were situations where the water that we accessed from the wells would kind of make you have some stomach aches or just some diseases because that water wasn't very safe.
I would waste more time trying to find water than the time I would spend studying.
But of course it was so tasking that water could finish before the day closes.
The mandate of Luapula Water Supply and Sanitation Company is to provide water to the 12 districts in the province, but currently we are only in 5 districts.
There's a village called Matoe Village. For a very long period of time, they had no safe drinking water. So through the partnership, we were able to improve our efficiencies to extend supply to that particular village, and now they've got clean running water.
Idanshita ilio tetulakwata ya mesha ya suma ayaya yefuma muli pipe. Kuno kuwala tuwalelo walidila sana mumala dysentery elio malaria noma pali ino kwena ifina fichepana ko pantu kuleno amesha ya suma. Ile mesha yafikire panganda twalitemwa sana kanto twamwino kwa atira ucho shinomba bwache pantu ayo kutayomba yalefumina fyapevi kufuma fe munganda mwata paso twali umfa bwino sana ninsanza sana nabana bonze panganda.
Kawamba was one of the districts which was badly affected by climate change and drought. Literally, the production had reduced to 600 meter cubic Because of the intervention of the WOP, okay, we rehabilitated the transmission mains. Here where we are, we did construct the clear well. We drilled a bore here. So the combination of what we are getting from the source and also from the bores, the production increased to 5,500 meter cubic.
We have done this small canal, which is also collecting water and adding to the total raw water, which is actually going to the water treatment plant.
You can imagine the jump from 600 to 5,000 meter cubic. So the impact on our customers is that right now customers are receiving water 24/7.
Yale yapo safire sauti na uwala. Ile ulipoweka pa utufunye siame shipanshi pale. Yale yapo sana. Nomba hapa awe nangu na uwala walafu mafe panganda pale. Wisenda nika ubike kofie. Wisule na meshi. Utape na meshi. Chapo walamba no kubonfi.
There's been a good reduction in the number of cases with waterborne diseases. Recently, we had a data review meeting. I'm proud to say that we had very few cases of diarrhea deaths. So I can safely say that we are doing well now that we have a good supply of water.
The most visible changes in this WOP from the beginning to now, the way how we do and how we work there. Thinking about motivation, mentality and maintenance.
This plant produces its own power and produces also gas, which we're able to connect to one of our customers who is enjoying the privilege of using the gas that were being produced in this plant.
Oje? Nomba pali noshta, balwa plauta, balimpera balwa plauta and storage company, balimpera ko stove, gas stove. Iyo ndebo ya pali nomba. I stove ile njafwa, mumikalile yani. Nalebo ya malasha, nimbavula. Ngande twala bana ku school. Fyale posa sana nshitapapo shafya kambavula kake.
Our effort together, we can go towards the SDG number 6, access to safe drinking water and also adequate sanitation.
I hope you all enjoyed that short video. And again, I'd like to give another thank you to our partners at the European Union for helping facilitate changes, as you guys just saw. I'm now excited to invite onto the stage Mr. Toili Kurbanov and Ms. Nicole Untersee, if you both would like to come up onto the stage. Yeah, great. So if you'd like to all please join me in welcoming Ms. Untersee, the Deputy Mayor of the City of Bonn.
Thank you so much. First of all, I have to say I was really deeply impressed of the film. It was great, really. So once more to the film. Dear UN Special Envoy on Water, Marsudi, dear Head of GWOPA, Johnson, dear Executive Coordinator, Kurbanov, dear State Secretary Annen, esteemed speakers, participants, dear community of water providers around the world, ladies and gentlemen. It's my pleasure and honor to welcome you to Bonn, Germany's United Nations city, on the occasion of this 6th Water Operator Partnerships Congress, hosted by the Global Water Operator Partnerships Alliance, GWOPA, the Global Alliance of UN Habitat. Bonn is a hub for sustainable development within the UN system. The SDGs, climate, nature, land, social justice, education, and gender equality are all goals advanced by the 27 resident UN entities located right next to our venue on the UN campus. Bonn takes pride in calling the GWOPA Alliance of UN Habitat part of this growing, active UN family. We are living in challenging times. Water security encompasses many issues, from water scarcity to water disasters, not to mention wars, conflicts, and criminal activities that threaten our critical water infrastructures. Water providers around the world face huge challenges in ensuring water and sanitation for people. Your collaboration under GWOPA are vital in finding better, quicker solutions. When time is of essence, drawing from the expertise and lessons learned of many, it's much quicker than starting from scratch. Thank you, UN Habitat and GWOPA, for providing a space for the water community to learn, solve problems, and grow together through the Alliance, particularly through this gathering. As some of you may know, networking and collaboration are definitely in Bonn's DNA as an international venue. Among the key players, I would like to mention GIZ and the ECLAY local governments for sustainability, of course, as well as the Bonn Water Network. Launched shortly after GWOPA arrival, the Bonn Water Network brings together key players in science and NGOs. As a city, we look forward to practical discussion about water this Thursday, which will include field trips to the Dransdorf stream and to our largest sewage plant on Saljaweg. It's really interesting, I've been there as well. I would like to conclude by saying that Bonn takes pride in being the venue of this meaningful exchange. Thank you all for coming to Bonn and for taking joint steps to advance water and sanitation hand in hand. I wish us all, and I wish you, interesting insights, inspiring encounters and discussions leading to practical and sustainable solutions for water provision and sanitation. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Ms. Untersee, for your speech. And now it's my pleasure to introduce Mr. Toily Kurbanov, the Executive Coordinator of the United Nations Volunteer Program. As someone who also started their own UN journey through the UNV program, I'm personally deeply honored to be introducing you to the stage today. So, yeah, a round of applause.
Thank you very much. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished delegates, all protocols observed. There's actually a water facility right outside here, a few hundred meters away. It's an old water facility, they call it Wasserwerk. You can see it during your coffee break when you go outside. It actually used to pump water from the River Rhine to the city for almost 100 years. But as the history goes, before reunification of Germany, then that building was transformed into the Bundestag, the German parliament. So you see in Bonn, water and politics come together. So you probably feel right at home here. But today, that facility actually stands on the UN Bonn campus. We plan to renovate it and to equip it for the future international conferences, including hopefully the future GWOPA congresses as well. And I'm looking at my German counterpart's eyes. I think I can see the funding approval right there. But next year, the campus will turn 30. The UN Bonn campus will turn 30 years. It all started in 1996 when Germany moved its capital to Berlin. And then they made an offer to UNDP, United Nations Development Program, to move their headquarters to Bonn into the former parliament building. UNDP politely declined. So the UN, not wanting to upset our German friends, went looking for a face-saving strategy. And as the story goes, the then Secretary General, Boutros Ghali, called one of my predecessors at UNV in Geneva and said, "I'm the UN Secretary General, are you UN Volunteers Office? I volunteer you to move to Bonn." You see, that's the history. But someone said UN is the place where you can come and listen for 100 of speeches, and not one of them will answer your question. That's probably me today. I don't think anybody had come to listen for the history of UN Bonn campus this morning. But this all has a point. Because we were the first tenants at the UN Bonn since 1996, every executive head of UNV has a global responsibility for the United Nations volunteers, but also responsibility for running the UN Bonn campus. So today I'm delighted to welcome you all on behalf of 27 United Nations entities based in Bonn and more than 1,000 of my colleagues to UN Bonn and to Bonn as well. Together we all work for a sustainable future. That's the motto of our work. You can also see it on our souvenir mugs, which you can buy at the kiosk outside here. But of course, on a serious note, we really appreciate that water is at the heart of the sustainable development. And that's why your work this week is crucial, helping cities not only to survive, but thrive under the environmental pressure. And therefore, on this note, I welcome you once again to Bonn, and I welcome you to UN Bonn, and I wish you a productive week ahead. Thank you.
Thank you very much to our welcoming words to the city of Bonn, both from the Mayor's office and from the UN itself here in Bonn. Thank you. So here we are. We're about to start the substantive part of the Congress, and I know many of you are getting eager to get started, and it's so inspiring to see this room so full here. We have one last speaker to wrap up the morning session, and it's my very special pleasure to invite Ms. Rose Kagwa, who is both representing the Uganda National Water and Sewage Corporation and is also the chair of the JWOPA Assembly. Rose, the floor is yours to kick us off for the rest of the morning. Welcome.
Thank you. Excellencies, distinguished guests, fellow utility leaders, partners, and friends. As I look across the room, I recall decades ago when the WOP movement started, and I'm happy to see that there's still a number of you who are actually my friends, and that means WOPs is working. It's an honor and privilege to welcome you all to this JWOPA Partners Congress. For some of us, it's a cold week coming from the sun. But we gather here not just as institutions, but as a community bound by a shared mission to make water and sanitation services stronger, fairer, and more resilient for all. I've worked in the sector for 33 years, and we have seen change, but we also know that there is more that we can do. The theme of this Congress, Solidarity in Action, Stronger Utilities for a Better World, speaks powerfully to the times that we live in. Around the world, utilities face growing pressures, and I think many of the MDs who are here, their phones are not switched off. From climate change challenges, as we see what is happening in Jamaica, urbanization, the economic uncertainty, even hearing that UN has financial issues or challenges, and wars. Yet amidst these challenges, we have seen something truly remarkable, a spirit of partnership that transcends borders, turning shared struggles into shared strength. And I think the film has demonstrated that. The Water Operators Partnership model, peer-to-peer, utility-to-utility, is not just a technical collaboration. It's not a competition. It's a human connection. It is solidarity made real. Each partnership represents a bridge of learning, innovation, and mutual support. Proof that when we work together, every drop of experience counts. Just as we say, every drop of water counts. As we begin this Congress, let's renew our commitment to learning from one another, to building trust, and to scaling up this movement. Let us celebrate the utilities that are showing courage, creativity, and compassion in serving their communities. Let us tell our stories and endeavor to change the trajectory in our efforts to meet SDG 6. Let us remember that through our collective effort, we can transform today's water and sanitation challenges into tomorrow's opportunities for sustainable development. We cannot afford to leave anyone behind. I want to thank the organizers of the Congress, and in a special way, UN Habitat, led by Executive Director, the GWOPA Secretariat, the Republic of Germany, and the city of Bonn for hosting this great Congress. I wish you all a fruitful and inspiring Congress, and make sure you leave when you have made at least 10 new friends. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Rose. And with those words, we're closing this opening, and we invite you all to stay in this room for the Urban Water Catalyst Initiative event that is going to come right after this. And of course, to see all of you throughout the next few days in many of the different sessions that we're going to be having together. Thanks very much to all the speakers here. Thanks to the audience, and looking forward to inspiring and productive week together. Thank you.